Myth. You need a credit card to rent a car or make a purchase online or by phone. Surely by now you know that is a myth. Because you know you could use what? A debit card. That's right. I carry 2 debit cards, one on my personal account, one on my business account. I travel more than any 2 of you put together. I've been to Europe. I've been to Hawaii. I've been to Mexico. They take the Visa debit card. Shut up. You can do everything you can do with a debit card except go in debt that you can do with a credit card. Well, if they take money out of your account, it's gone. No, it's not. They have to put it back. Visa has a 0 liability policy for debit and credit cards when your Visa card is used as a debit card or a credit card. Now, if you punch in a PIN number, it becomes an ATM. But if you just swipe your debit card just like someone else would do a credit card, you have the exact same protections, 100% protection on your account according to Visa's website. Look it up. That's what it says. So don't let people lie to you and tell you the debit card has more risk. Sometimes it's a little less convenient because you can't buy things if you don't have the money. Something to think about. The credit card industry last year had 6,000 issuers of credit cards, and credit card consumers to those 6,000 issuers paid $90 billion a year in penalties and fees, according to a Newsweek study. Wow. So the debit card will do everything the old credit card will do. This is how this works.
The differences between credit cards and debit cards is that when you swipe a debit card, money comes out of your checking account. So you actually have money in the bank. But a credit card, when you swipe that, you're actually borrowing someone else's money, normally the bank's. But both are protected for identity fraud, except when you run your debit card and put in your PIN number. So when you swipe your debit card, always run it as a credit.
Myth. I pay my credit card off every month with no annual payment or no fee. I get brownie points, air miles, and a free hat. I'm beating the credit card company up. Oh, you are you? Well, the truth is, a recent Dun & Bradstreet study says that when you spend cash, you spend 12 to 18% less than when you spend with a credit card. When you spend with a credit card, you spend 12 to 18% more than you do any other way. Think about it. Cash hurts, doesn't it? You get ready to go buy a stereo and you hand them these things, you have an ouchie moment. But if you just put this up there, you're like, no, put it on this one. And they go, well, this one doesn't work. Okay, put it on this one. That one doesn't work. Okay, put it on this one. And you just keep trying till you get one. But you do not register any pain. When you spend cash, it hurts, and you spend 12 to 18% less than when you spend on plastic. Just think about it. When you go out to eat, you know, well, I mean, McDonald's found this. That's why they started taking plastic. Nightline did a report on McDonald's deciding to take plastic. McDonald's average ticket prior to going to plastic was, it's pretty interesting, it was $4.75 a ticket. When they started taking plastic, it went to $7. That's a 47% increase. And you know why? You want fries with that? Sure. I'll take the big Coke, I'll take the extra apple pie, and I'll pay for his. Just put it on this. Will that be cash? Yes, sir. And you're on your own. Because cash hurts, doesn't it? So you go out to eat, and they bring that little black tray, you know, with the bill on it. That's Uncle Benjamin Franklin's coffin. Because when you lay him on there, you know they're going to carry him off. And you know he's not coming back. See ya, Uncle Ben. You go down and you get ready to buy a really nice bedroom suit at the furniture store. You're looking at it going, Uncle Ben, we got to get a bedroom suit, man. It's been good. We'll see you. Because if you carry Uncle Ben around a while, he becomes part of the family. And when you spend him, it feels like you're putting him out for adoption. That's how it feels, isn't it? It really does hurt. Now, I've been quoting that story for many, many years, and an interesting thing came up in Carnegie Mellon magazine. Let me tell you what this says in here. It says they did research on the neurological impact of big purchases. They hooked up an MRI to several participants. They watched their brainwave activity when they spent money with an MRI. In just a recent article right here. Guess what they found? When people spend cash, it neurologically registers as pain. When they spend plastic, the pain is reduced substantially when it's a debit card. When it's a credit card, it's really reduced. Because with a debit card, we at least associate it with cash that's in the bank somewhere, right? Because our mind is not being tricked by this. So we have to be very, very careful. But Dave, I get airline miles. Great. Have you ever tried to cash those in? Jupiter has to be aligned with Mars, and you have to sit in the back with the cattle. Oh, well, I really get to use mine. Really? Consumer Reports just did a study that says 75% of the airline miles are never redeemed. And we spend a lot of our time out there buying stuff on a card trying to get our airline miles up. And 75% of them are never redeemed. Yeah. Hey, and you know, there's some cool stuff coming. The things are changing, aren't they? They're moving quickly away from the magnetic stripe, and now there's chips in the cards, and it's the new RFID technology. So it's going to be a wave instead of a swipe. And what they're already finding is that when you wave instead of swipe, you spend another 8 to 12% more. Because at least when we swipe, we feel like we spent, and when we wave, we don't. And then they're taking that chip and putting it in other things to make it where it's totally not like spending money. There's some real cool technology, and it's neat technology, where they're starting to put it in the PDAs, and they'll put your credit card chip in here, or your debit card chip in here. And so all you do when you get ready to buy something is you're just going to wave it. Only problem is if you're like at Home Depot and your phone rings, you could buy a whole truckload of bushes. The truth is, though, I mean, what if you could put something like Quicken in here and it automatically then registered your debit card? That'd be a pretty cool use of technology. So there's going to be some things like that coming on in the next few years. Be watching for them. They're already being test marketed and used. And all technology is not evil, but what you always have to do is you have to think, when this technology changes or my method of payment changes, is it affecting my behavior pattern? Because it usually is, and the people doing it have an agenda. They're trying to get you to spend more because they make more when you spend more. So utilize the technology, but be very wary. Be a little bit with a healthy level of paranoia about it. Cynicism. I've kind of got the gift of cynicism. So credit cards, I need a credit card to exist? I don't think so. That's a myth. All right. Myth. I'll make sure my teenager gets a credit card so he or she can learn to be responsible with money. I'm going to send them off to school, and they're going to have something to protect them. Okay, just pack an Uzi in their suitcase with the safety off. That'll protect them, right? What happened? It went off. The same thing will happen if you give them a credit card. It'll go off. Truth. The problem is this. Teenagers and kids are now the #1 target of credit card companies across America today. And the reason is this. Well, they've given you guys about all the cards they can give you. The market's saturated. But what they're discovering is brand loyalty to your first card is incredible. And I've discovered this to be true. The very first person who gives you a credit card, you'll keep that one forever. It's like an old boyfriend's number. Have you ever heard anyone tell you to get a credit card so you can build your credit? A lease is the best way to buy a car, or you have to get a student loan to go to college. None of these are true, but they're accepted as truth all across America. Americans are drowning in debt. Guess who the #1 target of credit card companies is today? You. The credit card industry has saturated the adult market, and they're now coming after you. Did you know that the number of credit card solicitations you will receive your first semester in college is between 25 and 50? This isn't a game, folks. Don't borrow money. It's dangerous. It's a loaded gun. Be careful.
Growing up as Dave Ramsey's kid, you can imagine that I learned a thing or two about money growing up. But to be honest, I kind of feel like I lived in this financial bubble because when I went to college, it just popped. And everyone around me, I realized, had no clue how to handle money, even my own friends, because no one talked them through this issue. Now, I was not perfect at all in college with handling money or even my life in college. There's things I look back on and I wish, oh, I could have done that differently. But I want this to be something that you can take and you can apply to your life. And so I brought 2 of my good friends, John and Christy, and we're gonna kind of just talk through some issues that have come up that we've talked about that are major issues in college, and just to kind of give you a grasp of our thoughts and our perspective. So it's so much of a better plan to stay out of debt, not even have to worry about the burden of I have to have a credit score. I have to be building my credit score. I mean, that's something that I heard all the way through college, from my professors, from my friends' parents, even saying, make sure you build your credit score. You know, God forbid you leave college without a credit score. You need to start now. You need to start And it's crazy because it's such a lie, because the credit score is made up of all things that is debt. I mean, the length of debt, the type of debt you have, the amount of debt you have, it's all debt related to get a score to go into more debts, you know what I mean? And that's another lie that I feel like college students are falling for, that I even saw out of my own friends. They were falling for that myth.
I would say that Dave Ramsey, and working at this company, this is the first time I heard that until I worked at this company. Before that, I don't think there's anyone else in the country that teaches that, teaches that you can go through life without a credit score, which means these high school students are getting bombarded, not just from the college professors or from their family and their friends in their church. Everyone, every company, every marketer, every area of influence in their life is telling them this lie. And it's not ill-intended, but they really believe it because it is the normal.
And it's not a reflection of your value, it's not a reflection of your wisdom. Not knowing it isn't a failure on your part, not building one isn't a failure. And so you just get wrapped up in all that marketing behind the credit score machine.
And what I do is I see people, I'm up front cutting up cards, and then I look at them and I go, okay, where's the other one? How'd you know? Well, I've had this one since college. And they get it out, and it's this old worn-out looking credit card. It ain't even been updated, but they've had it forever, and it's like an old friend. Isn't it amazing? It's like a 4-year-old with a security blanket. We're very, very loyal to our very first credit card issuer, and so they all work really hard to be our very first credit card issuer. So they're on campus, and they set up tables with free T-shirts, free hats, and a free pizza, don't they? And many a college student in here right now, or former college student in here right now, has traded their financial soul for a dad-blame T-shirt. And we all know we did it. Well, I'll pay, I won't use it, I'm just getting the shirt. I'm just getting the 10% off. It'll never happen to me. Yeah, you're playing with a multi-billion-dollar company. They don't make mistakes in marketing. You know, you may occasionally win that battle, but most of the time, they're coming to get you. It's not a game. And they're going younger and younger and younger and younger. The game of life now takes Visa. Visa takes life. You can't live life without Visa. What a great marketing message. And the sad thing is, deep down in our souls, we really believe we can't have a life if we don't have a Visa. That's a broken concept. I'm not mad at Visa. Again, I'm in awe of the excellence of their marketing.
The reason why they're doing that, obviously, is because you don't have a job. That's the point. You're probably not going to pay your bills on time, which means they get to charge you interest and they get to make more money off of you. If the credit card companies can hook you in college, they probably have you hooked for life.
Now, I don't think they're really trying to issue these 4-year-olds credit cards, but they're teaching them so when they get to the college campus, they pick Visa instead of picking Discover or instead of picking MasterCard. It's a brand war. Just like Papa John's and Domino's and Pizza Hut, it's a brand war, or Pepsi and Coke, it's a brand war, right? And they're fighting for that market share tooth and nail, and they're spending big bucks to do it, and they're starting to train children. It's called kiddie branding. We found this a couple of years ago. This little baby is Barbie, cool shopping Barbie. Now, I had girls at my house, and so we're not mad at Barbie. We have Barbie and Barbie parts all over our house. We kind of like Barbie. We wish she'd eat a little better, but we kind of like Barbie, you know. But I had a real problem with Cool Shopping Barbie, because Cool Shopping Barbie came out with a little MasterCard taped to her hand, and of course included in the kit is a full-size MasterCard. This particular product by Mattel was sponsored by MasterCard. So what's the message here? If you're 3 or 4 years old, 5 years old, and you're playing with Barbies and you want to be pretty and cool when you're shopping and you're cool, what do? You don't use Discover. You don't use American Express. You use MasterCard. That's what cool people do. That's the message, isn't it? And it's drilled home and drilled home and drilled home and drilled home. By the way, this little thing came with no cash. And here's what's sickening. Here's what we're training our 4-year-olds. Listen, this is how you know you're cool, right here. Listen. Credit approved, you airhead. Sad thing is, this is having an effect on our youngsters. Junior Achievement did a study called The Case for Economic Education and discovered 2 things. More young adults filed bankruptcy than graduated from college last year. And colleges are telling them in this same study over and over and over that they're losing more students to credit card debt problems than they are to academic failure. You get your credit cards up, you got to go get a job and pay them. You quit school and come home, which, by the way, activates your student loans 6 months later, and you don't have an education to get the better job to be able to pay the student loans. There's a cycle here that's really got socioeconomic impact. It's a real problem. We, the consumer, have to wake up and say, you know, I'm thinking maybe no. There's an idea. Just something to think about.
I feel like in college it's such this mindset of, oh, I'll just accumulate student loans. I'll just accumulate credit cards. I won't worry about all the choices I'm making right now. You know, this is college. This is the best years of my life, and I'll worry about all that when I graduate and when I go get, you know, a high-paying job. That's when I'll worry about it. And that's such a mindset that's there today. That's something that I even kind of fell into at some points of, oh well, I mean, I could sleep through class. If I fail that test, it's not that big of a deal. I'll worry about that tomorrow. When every decision you make, you know, it follows you.
And I think people do get caught up in that idea of kind of the romantic version of college. And part of it is that you'll have older friends and adults who will say, do it while you can, do it while you can. And so there's all these do it while you can moments where you go, I've got to go to Europe right now. I don't have the money, I don't have anything saved up, but when I'm in my 30s, Europe will be closed. I'll only be able to vacation in Chattanooga or Branson, Missouri. The only way to really find yourself is with a backpack and a Eurail pass and be in Paris and eat some bad bread. And I thought, this is it. And so I went into debt over that. And so you make all these decisions about, this is my one moment. This is what college is about. I'll pay for the memory later. I'm going to make this magical memory. And then the 25-year-old version of you will hate the 19-year-old.